Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to the Forgotten City, where I think I sort of have an explanation for some of the reasons that some parts of the game are the way that they are. After I recorded the last episode, someone got in touch with me to sort of like explain the history of this thing. And apparently it started its life as a Skyrim mod. It took place within Skyrim, using, you know, I'm not really very familiar with Elder Scrolls stuff in general, but using some ancient civilization that existed within the Skyrim world and dwarves and whatever. So that helps to explain some of the stuff I was talking about last episode, where it seems like a fair amount of the dialogue is written for a pretty different context than the one the game actually exists in, like the idea of it taking years to save up some money, everybody behaving as though there is some kind of economy when there can't possibly be one, because the game it took place in Skyrim. It was Skyrim's economy, and so on. It's wild to me that they didn't just do a total rewrite of the script. Like, obviously they had to change a lot of stuff, but I don't know. It's an explanation, and it makes sense, but I don't think it excuses a single damn thing. And it doesn't even really explain everything. But, yeah, like I was saying, at least that makes some sense of it. So, here we are, down in some ancient Sumerian ruins. It may well be the case that there are still hostiles here. All of the statues in here look like the kind that are permanent, I think. But I'm going to try to stay off of the floor, because the pathfinding for the actual enemies seems real bad if you're off the ground at all. It's like we're trying to avoid tremors. Like our good friend the Kevin Bacon. Man, I haven't seen that movie in forever. A lot of stuff we're just, like, invisible walled off of, unfortunately. An eroded set of barricades. It looks like these Sumerians were trying to defend themselves from something. Yeah, I guess I'm not really seeing any evidence of hostility in this area. I mean, aside from all the barricades and the, you know, the dead people. But, yeah, aside from that, seems pretty low-key in here. Very chill. Are we... Nope, we are not intended to get through here. And that's just an invisible... That's a really bad invisible wall, because it's just an open corridor. Like, it's obvious that they really wanted us to go this way, but that other direction sure looked like something. Oh, okay, it's just in a language I can read. There's some of the magic here where, like, all of the languages are our language. Doesn't quite make sense, and, like, you probably heard me object very loudly to the idea that, what's-her-name would be able to spell a name to us in English letters, because, like, what is the translation magic that is occurring there, right? But whatever, fine, we can read the tablet. Stranger, heed the final words of Nemkuzu. Bear witness to our aftermath and lament us. We did our best to live as the gods commanded. We planted and harvested together, we shared bread and beer, we accepted newcomers with open arms as if family. But with each newcomer, the bonds of our family strained, and soon we were as strangers to each other. And when these bonds were finally broken, my brothers and sisters planted only for themselves, and ate and drank alone. And it was there, in the empty space between us, that sin took root. Nurgle's sentinels have awoken, and clamor at our barricades. Learn from our miss, and then, of course, the extremely hacky writing trope of, oh no, they died in the middle of writing their message about how everything went wrong. The thing that kind of gets, again, another invisible wall just, like, at an open hallway. The thing that gets me about that trope in particular is that, like, I know that the people who are reading, the people who are writing the thing, have seen it in other stuff. Well. Alright, sort of a Sorry about that, y'all. Sort of a half-assed trap, if we're being honest. You know they've seen all the same examples that you have of that trope before. And it's just like, why would you choose to write a thing like that when you have seen how it doesn't work? You've seen all these examples of how it is always, like, very lame and whack. I don't know. People make a lot of weird decisions in writing. A broken set of Sumerian pottery. While other ancient people made pottery by hand, the Sumerians were the first to develop the turning wheel, which allowed them to mass produce it. The amount of head turning that the statues do is really, it's really like sapped that of all of its creepiness rather quickly. All right, so what do you think? Is it just going to be straight on from that way? Ah, from behind, I see. That's not even on the ground. Yep, and again, the invisible wall. We are never allowed to walk on that side of the hallway. Alright, so are we setting up the idea that with all of these rock impacts, we're like slowly setting up the flooding of the city? Because that does seem like it could be a problem in the long term.
When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here.
I thought we were going to get away without having to kill him. Friend, there's no need for this to end in violence, and also there's like a better than average chance that if we do get into violence here, it's going to result in some magic nonsense.
I disagree. I warned you against coming down here, against perpetuating this sacrilege, but you persisted.
I do wish I had that gun.
You undermined and dishonored the true god of the underworld. How did you think this would end, if not with bloodshed?
Listen, just to hear me out.
Very well, I will listen. But if I sense deception, or if you further insult my gods, I will carry out my threat. So tell me, why should I let you live after you salvaged this instrument of blasphemy?
And for real, why on earth would he list? Like, it's completely out of character and out of his stated, like, motivations for him to be listening to us right now instead of just killing us. Okay, so don't insult his gods, don't lie to him. This is true. It doesn't really advance things in any way, probably, though. I mean, this is also true, but I don't know that he's going to take it as less than an insult. He'll definitely get mad. This is going to make him mad. It's true as hell. It is the truest of the three, but it's definitely going to make him mad. Listen, there's no shame in building on the works of people who came before you.
That may be true of many things, but this is different. If our gods were copied and corrupted from an older civilization, does that not mean they are false? Does that mean our prayers to our gods all fell on deaf ears because we were not even addressing them by their true names?
That's not why, but... Listen, how do I explain atheism to this guy? He won't like this one, but again, like this... In the case of this game world, this one's demonstrably true. Look, if gods exist, isn't it possible they each have more than one true name?
Now that I think about it, my people would sometimes call Osiris the god of many names. Perhaps it is so. But the underworld of my people is so different to this one, and so unlike the way it was described by our priests. Many of my ancestors endured great hardship to live good lives so that we may descend to the Duat in death and be judged accordingly. We prepare to have our hearts weighed on Anubis' scales and to swear ourselves innocent of sin before the 42 assessors of Ma'at. And yet, I arrive here to find the Book of the Dead contained only a seed of truth. And now, I ask myself, did our priests steal and embellish the stories of an older people and feed us lies all our lives simply to trick us into obedience?
I think it really, really does not help the... I think the voice acting is mostly quite good. I would describe the actual dialogue writing as, like, workmanlike, maybe? Like, it's very much dialogue that exists for the purpose of getting you from one gameplay point to another gameplay point, and it's not really, like, internally logically consistent, and all the stuff that they clearly think is going to be, like, impressive or really deep just, like, does not work at all. But the thing that is maybe hurting this guy's whole deal more than anything else is this fucking combat ready animation he's looping in the whole time he's talking. Like, you are not selling me that this is a person. All right. The answer to his question is probably some form of the priests didn't, you know, they probably were not thinking of it as lies. They too were tricked. I don't know why some version of that isn't on here. Listen, isn't being a good person a worthwhile pursuit in and of itself? I'm going to very carefully not define the word good here.
I am not sure I follow. Speak plainly.
Damn it. Damn it, he does seek a definition of terms. Is it the most important thing that they motivated you to live good lives, or... These are functionally extremely similar. It probably doesn't matter. This is probably a fake choice. He said don't insult my gods. He didn't say don't insult me. If you were only good in life because you expected a reward, were you really a good person? And append, and don't you think the gods would be able to tell the difference?
Now you insult me and all of my ancestors.
I mean, listen.
You have sealed your own fate.
I have a hard time imagining why either of those options would have led to any other result here. Hey, wait. If you attack me, you'll break the golden rule.
Good. I welcome it. You see, the philosopher told me that each time it breaks, Osiris bellows with rage, and his voice shakes the very foundations of the earth.
I will absolutely reload the game before I will do another.
Will lay waste to this fragile place once and for all, and you along with it.
That said, it's possible that the golden
many
rule
shall suffer.
Okay, never mind.
For the sins of the one.
I was gonna say it's possible the golden rule won't actually work down here. I am kind of curious, just like... Also, it's not clear to me where he was during that whole conversation. Where does this go? Okay, y'all are looking pretty angry, but not like actually kill me angry, so... I'm just gonna keep working. We're in black and white now, and it's possible that progress has been made impossible. Ow. There's another layer even deeper here? Hi. No, we're just back here? Must we? Okay. Yeah, we are absolutely just back here again. Ugh. So I'm going to run back down there and just not use the ladders this time. It did not occur to me that that might just loop, because why would they do that? I hope that it's possible for us to still, like, progress the story, even though the golden rule has been broken. Because, like, well, this is not how this is supposed to work. We are definitely just swimming through the air right now. Okay, well... it's this way. I do not have the ability to go any faster, it seems like. The game will let me draw the bow. I wonder when we're gonna not be underwater anymore. Like, the idea that the city could flood from all the water totally makes sense, but they've just kind of forgot to actually make the thing happen, it seems like. Okay, here's where it gets a little tricky. So this doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, better we die than have to restart the loop, right? Just gonna very slowly serpentine. Yep, load from last save. I wonder if it's saved when we entered the conversation? Or maybe like right outside automatically? Yes, it did. Okay. So where in the hell even was he? Can I avoid this conversation? Can I just like, no?
When I told you that you would not you
do a camera move or something. Don't just fucking fade to black and then show me this dude standing in the middle of unfocused 8th grade school picture background. All right. No need for this to end in violence. You disagree. And then he's like, I say there's no need for this to end in violence. He responds, no, it absolutely should end in violence. I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, but what if no? And he's like, great argument. I love that. I'm very moved by it. No shame in building on the works of the people who came before you. Gods might have more than one name, which is the thing that he already knows, he says. And then he's just like, yeah, gee, I never thought of it that way, which is terrible. Being a good person, a good pursuit, motivates you to live good lives.
Perhaps
this is the same answer as the
truth in that. What is your point?
Those are not even different. Those are not different dialogue choices. Are you going to abandon a lifetime of good character now that it matters most just because you found out you were misled?
You are persuasive. Very well. I will let you live, and you may do what you will with that plaque. I will remain here for a while and attempt to learn what I can about the foundations of my people's beliefs. Go.
Once again, like dialogue as a solution to a poorly designed puzzle rather than as dialogue or like a thing that makes sense for a character to say or believe. Is he literally not even in the room? I think that's the case. I think the problem here is that they didn't actually make a place for him to be, and so that's why it does the fade to black instead of like turning you to face him. Okay. So he says you can do what you want with that plaque. We do have the plaque already. The Greek and Roman plaques we expect are up in the city proper. So I guess just dying and going to the loop would have been fine. Because there was nothing else of value to have here, it seems. This is literally a staircase to nowhere with an invisible wall halfway down it. Same deal. What? Just have some rocks collapsed over it. What is with the number of invisible walls in this area is very strange. Okay. So this is just going to take us back out. Oh, here he is. We had that whole conversation at normal speaking volume from there. All right. That's almost worse than them having not loaded him into the room at all. Okay, so this will get us back up, and then we have to... I have to say, like, that is supposed to be the big, cool, mind-blowing twist of the game, and that the idea that the city is built on top of another city where this already happened, which is built on top of another city where this already happened, like I said, is the thing that I thought was interesting enough as an idea to get me to play the game, even though, you know, historical settings and stuff, not generally all that interesting in my opinion. And gosh, they really half-assed that whole thing. Sometimes less than half. There were areas of that had no more than a quarter of an ass. Okay, so You're the worst.
Ah, you've returned.
I would love it if you would just be quiet forever. Let me get out of here. I never thought that I would miss Galerius. So now we still have to make this whole election thing happen, right? Because we can't get to Dooley's thing without getting him out of his cell. He's got one of the plaques. So it seems like a really tedious plot line to have to engage in, but it's where we're at if we wanna properly see the end. Am I okay? There we go. For a second, I thought the game had accidentally placed an invisible wall in front of us there too. All right, so is there any way?
Hello?
Because that's the plaque right there. Nope, invisible walls everywhere. I was kind of figuring like we could just reach through and grab it and it would be stealing or whatever and it would loop us, but like if we get the plaque, it doesn't much matter if we're looped. Okay. So Georgius suggested that it's probably some sticky-fingered Roman who has the Greek plaque. But that doesn't tell us too much. That could really be anybody, right? And then the Roman plaque. Oh no, sorry. The Greek plaque is this one. The Roman plaque is the one with the locked shrine. I know Rufius is a Christian. Yeah, all right. He's gonna want me to help him out with his rheumatism, though, right? Before he'll tell me anything, and I don't actually know how to do that. And Nevia might, but Nevia's in the temple at the top of the hill, which we still don't have a way into. Whoa. Hey there, Decius. It's a very creepy thing you done there. What are we doing right now?
I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying.
Yeah.
No idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old magistrate's ban, but I'm impressed. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself.
Uh-huh.
But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts.
Go on.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues?
Yeah, the statues come to life and fire golden bows and arrows at them.
And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out.
There's no way you figured that.
Supposedly, one or two of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life, which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
I can see you are a student of the mathematical arts. This is another quest that really doesn't make sense in the context we're in now. It makes sense if there's an outside world, but wealth is meaningless in this place. So I'm gonna say I'm interested because I want to know exactly what his pitch is. But also, there's no way that it, like, if you haven't actually seen the Golden Rule thing happen, and he hasn't, of course. The only reason we're able to see it happen and then live to tell about it is because of the time loop. There's no way to, like... There is no reason that you would assume that those statues come to life, produce bows out of nowhere, because they are not holding bows ordinarily, and then shoot people with golden arrows. So it's very weird that he has that information.
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan. But first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
Let's say I am for the sake of time.
Good. Then none of this should be a surprise to you. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you
He's
are.
asking like I
The
said
one
no.
thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
I don't know, a golden bow?
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what.
But you want me to steal it?
Oh, gods no. If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
What makes this not stealing? He didn't really explain the part where this has anything to do with the golden rule, and the idea that like we would do it under cover of darkness and we would leave a similar replica. Does he think that the golden rule is enforced by like a Keystone Cop or? Okay, why? All of the important questions are not on here. Why can't you just do it yourself?
I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you.
Isn't this extremely dangerous, by which I mean guaranteed to doom us all?
When Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger?
So you don't know how that story ends?
Only because he was silly enough to get caught.
Okay, but Decius is the reason we don't have the option of making any of the obvious important objections is that Decius is too stupid to understand them, I think.
Because the gods would see you, of course.
Yep, okay, alright.
So,
Am I in? If you don't like action or horror elements, feel free to decline. I'm gonna say, alright, I'll do it.
wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, this is a quality.
Alright, I'm assuming that we don't have to go through with it. Alright, I'm gonna save the game here.
The Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Okay, so you have to do this to get that door open, though. Because he is the only one who can unlock it, apparently. Let's just go ahead and produce a save, shall we? Okay. The Shrine of Diana, probably most easily accessed by doing this.
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside.
Huh. Well, that's a nightmare. So, under cover of darkness. Alright, so, hold on. Am I allowed to... The door locked behind us. Cool, great. The election? Oh, interesting. I suspect this is going to get really, really whack. Like... Alright, the level of lighting in here has changed almost not at all. Apparently that wasp's nest is the primary source of illumination. A large statue of Diana, ancient goddess of the hunt, etc. Take. It says take, not steal. Do I need to have my thing out, or... Huh. How do I... Do I have to be up there with her? Does it want me to knock the... Like, it cannot possibly be the case that it wants me to knock the nest down, right? That doesn't make any sense. But there's very little else for us to do. Hold on, I have a question. If I shoot an arrow through the fire, does it... I mean, not in any obvious way. It does not seem to stay lit. I was just sort of wondering if we could, like, clear out these cobwebs. So maybe... Do I need it to be less light in here? But, like... There's no way to do that, right? Can I climb on top of your head, maybe? Oh, the answer is actually yes, remarkably. Although, only from behind. There we go.
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow?
He locked me in. I was not allowed to... The option to respond just disappeared.
You, partner? Do you have the bow?
Okay, maybe I just have to click on it really fast.
Is that you, partner? Wonderful.
I guess...
Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you.
Uh-huh. He is absolutely not going to
you,
do that.
Partner? Do you have... Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you.
And the election's happening again, it sounds like?
Is that you, partner?
How do I do it?
Do you have the bow?
Okay, so I think this whole thing is very bugged. So the bow that we have right now sheds an incredible amount of illumination. What if I...
Partner? Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you.
I'm gonna turn this nest to gold.
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow?
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So normal arrows fired out of this turn things to gold. I wonder if the idea is that maybe you turn the plant life to gold and that allows you to walk on it. That doesn't make any sense. Because, like, wouldn't it be really soft? This is, in fact, the way to interact with the plant. It's wild that is the case, but okay. It's no sillier than any other answer would have had to be, I suppose.
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me. A rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and, disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strange whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke.
So, I think the reason that it asked us to get a bow was because you need to do this whole golden bow thing to get into this building. But it's like, it is insane that by standing outside the door, I knew that I was going to need to get a bow so that I could paint it gold, so that I could have a man I had not met yet come up with a scheme to paint it gold, to steal from a goddess, even though stealing things gets you killed in this city, so that I could turn a bunch of plants to gold and climb up them, which doesn't make any sense because vines made of gold would be impossible to climb for a huge number of reasons. Baffling. Deeply baffling. Also, nobody owns arrows. Taking an arrow is never stealing. Peeled, huh? Okay, that's very fun. I do enjoy that. Tip: if you don't enjoy action or horror elements, you are free to decline. But, like, are you, though? Aren't you going to have to... Well, that's some clumsiness on my part. Aren't you going to have to do this in order to finish the game? Also, why does it say thank you when you turn it to gold? I could get, like, the idea of a zombie being thankful that it's no longer a zombie in some way, but, like, being trapped inside of trapping a living thing inside of a coating of gold is not like an act of mercy. Also, I'm still going for headshots, but I probably don't need to be. This bow will probably work on any contact at all, would be my guess.
You're not supposed to be here.
There you go. Yeah, no, I know. I literally have to have done that to get here. Nope, didn't throw the thing back enough. Oh, I see. They mean because the algae is going to spawn infinite golden enemies for some reason. I actually don't even know. Is there stuff on this pond? That's not even... There's no water in that pond. Okay. So, is the idea that there are still people down there? Or, like, what was the value of turning the algae to gold, actually? It seems like it would have served exactly the same purpose to just turn the very small number of people who crawled out to gold. Okay. The voice said this way when we were walking in the other direction, but it would seem like... Okay. Not going to be allowed to go that way. Nevia's got some serious compunctions about speaking to me. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Alright, I guess we're dropping in the hole. Yeah. See here. Too slow. Here it makes a difference. Here you can use it to spread the stuff. If I had acted a little bit more quickly. Gosh, I have a lot of arrows. I do not love the the levitate upwards climb. Are you? Oh, you're not actually. Okay, so I don't know if I missed there or if maybe body shots are not always sufficient. What was the purpose of that? I mean, there's just like, there's a rock ledge right there. I would have been able to stand on that either way, I would hope. Are you stuck? Okay, so that's pretty solid, hard evidence there that in fact they do have to be headshots to reliably turn the enemies to gold in a single touch. Body shots do not always get you there. Okay, yeah, 10 more arrows is good. That is fun. That is very enjoyable. They've done it. They've fully redeemed themselves. Kicking over the horrified statues is good. I just love being made of gold so much. Is there anything fun in here? Looks like probably not. There's definitely at least one more thing out here. Hi. No, I'm good, thanks. Oops, that's a little high. I am unfortunately overcompensating for projectile drop just a little bit here. And again, under no circumstances do these things present a threat to us, because we have the ability to just, if they ever get close enough to potentially do any damage, we can just kick them. There was one more, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm... Okay. Well, easy enough. Hi. It's weird how much more of a traditional video game this has suddenly become. Okay, useful to have for later. Nope, sorry, take item. Not steal, take. Take is fine.
My beloved Galatea. After I learned the terrible truth about the golden statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, the histories and stories I'd learned to share. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman I have ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness. Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead, barred the doors to this place, and set to work.
Ugh, the controls for this are bad. I mean, there's all this like trickery and stuff going on here, but again, I have 90 of these arrows, and I guess they were just really worried about people who are not like traditional shooter players being able to complete this. Like, they wanted to make sure it was very, very, very easy.
Make it stop.
Also, it turns out she needn't have been so worried about Mercy's and freeing these people from the torment beyond all mortal understanding, because it turns out there is nothing in the universe that they love more than having been turned to gold. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is the way it is. Oops, that was a close little... Okay. I'm assuming that, yeah, none of this is going to open. We were not supposed to fall down here, and I was supposed to just ignore all these things. But, like, they seem to love being turned to gold is the thing. Sighs with relief. It really doesn't make any sense, and it definitely undercuts the point of this whole Nevia story, where she is overwhelmed with her need to free them from their torment, because actually they love this shit. But this is the way it works. Is the idea here that the gold is... Okay, I'm just supposed to lure them onto it first. For a second there, I was like, is this like about muffling my footsteps, or... What a shot. Incredible work. Nope, sorry, you're not actually a statue. I mean, you're actually you know what I mean. Obviously actually a statue. I can't believe they set their game in like a fictional ancient Rome and they still found a way to include audio logs. It's incredible.
My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan. My first charge was a Greek woman who I called Iodame after the Athenian turned to stone by Medusa. Drilling through the gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break the golden rule, and yet, somehow, it did not. It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken.
It's an awful lot of it.
Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually,
She was
I
at this
able
for
to
some
free
time,
most
right?
of her
This is a
body.
lot of peeled
But when I
statues.
released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength and those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her. Whatever possessed Iodami to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated wing of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering, I cannot risk attempting to ungild you yet. Not until I have perfected a method that will bring you back to me, whole in both mind and body, and ensuring your humanity is preserved. I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this God's forsaken place.
So all of this Nevia stuff is just like they're desperately trying to hand wave away the decisions that they made to try to put some gameplay in here. Like, I don't know, the gold's an alloy or something. That's why it works the way it works. And the idea of her having fallen immediately in love with one of these statues to the degree that it caused her to brutally torture literally dozens of others. It's just like they're trying really hard to come up with excuses, like very clearly ex post facto justifications for gameplay ideas that they had, but they just haven't bothered to put the work in on the writing to actually make any of it function. It's all, again, like, it feels like excuses. Every bit of the writing in this game feels like excuses for the gameplay. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, howdy. Are you whispering to me through the statue somehow? Okay, well, I don't think it is Proserpina. Yeah, who are you? Oh, I see. I really should have been paying more attention. That's on me. I'm just gonna ask Nevia about treatment for rheumatism. Yep, that's my first point of order here. You must be Nevia.
And you must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for that.
I mean, if you attack me... Wait, we'll both end up encased in gold? I guess we're assuming that me turning people to gold is going to break the golden rule, but I don't know for sure that it would. My guess is I might be able to shoot her with this bow without firing the golden rule. I am going to say this, though. Maybe I can talk her out of making this weird.
And you think I care about that? I don't care what happens to me, as long as you get what you deserve.
Yes, I can tell that you are famously unselfish. Look, none of this has anything to do with me, in fact.
Liar. I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace, for her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her, to see her beautiful face, to hear her speak freely, instead of in those cryptic whispers. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped whispering to me.
Oh, weird.
And now I discover she started whispering to you instead. What's so special about you?
I mean, I'm like hardcore magic. I'm magic in a bunch of ways. I mean, it's not just this statue whispering to me. A lot of them do it. But it's always the same voice. Yeah, maybe it is still Proserpina. I don't know why I'm like assuming Nevia is right about what's going on.
What do you mean, the same voice?
I mean, it's like someone else is whispering to me through the statues. It's probably not, you know, the individual statues themselves.
Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me. They did sound similar. I just thought it was because all voices sound the same when they whisper. But now that I think about it, they were all benevolent and seemed to share a common knowledge. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice, then this body is nobody. And everything I've done here was... Wait, I see what you're doing. You're trying to steal her away from me. Were you planning to wait until I'd done all the hard work, then swoop in? Is that it?
You caught me. Let's not, in this moment, let us not call her crazy. No, I swear that is not it. By the way, just like super not believable that she thought the statues were all different people because all voices sound the same when whispering, because they don't. Any person who's ever heard two people whisper could tell you that.
Liar! You tried to steal her away from me, and now look what you made me do.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't peel you too.
I did with the golden rule thing. All I want to do is leave.
What? What are you talking about?
I got trapped in tunnels under the city and came up inside the palace. This was not my plan. I mean, it was absolutely my plan, but like, it's very complicated.
Wait. So you're saying you weren't coming for us?
No, I never had any intention of hurting you, actually.
So I did all this. I ruined her. For nothing. What have I done? Oh gods, I feel sick. I can't bear the thought of her being like this. And in so much pain. It's the air. Coming into contact with her flesh. It's agonizing for them. But the only way to fix it will be to break the golden rule and let it run its course. At least that way she'd be golden again, and we'd be together. All it would take is one little cut.
There's a lot of weird assumptions being made by a lot of people in this game, and the game doesn't do very much to like suggest to us that their assumptions are wrong. I don't know why she would think that killing one of these things would break the golden rule, but brutally torturing them and carving all the flesh from their bones wouldn't. I cannot believe that I'm actually about to... Wait, I can undo all of this if you just tell me the treatment for rheumatism. Please tell me that she points out what an absurd thing that is to say.
It's too late. There's nothing you can do. I have to do this. I'm sorry.
Nope, she fully took that in stride. I mean, I can cover her in gold again.
What? How?
Okay, so you haven't been watching me this whole time. You should have been. I've been doing very cool stuff. This golden bow is the weapon that encases people in gold.
Really? I'm not sure I believe you. But if you can undo this mess, I'll tell you what you need to know.
I'll tell you all
And if
about
you're lying
rheumatism.
to me, I'll break the golden rule and kill you and everyone else in this city. Understood?
Yeah, let's look easy. F5. Don't turn Nevia to gold, because that would be bad for me finding out the rheumatism thing. There, easy, see?
You did it. You took away her pain. I don't know what to say. Thank you, thank you. I swear I will never harm her again. I swear it. I'll stay here to keep her company. But these poor souls, what can be done for them? I've tried everything I can. I fear the only one capable of releasing them properly is whichever god doomed them in the first place. In any case, I must honor our bargain. The treatment for rheumatism is willow bark. I believe there's a pot of it already in the Shrine of Apollo. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there.
It's madness. It's madness that, again, all of the dialogue is just excuses for gameplay switches to get pushed, and it's
Go.
bad.
And
It's a
never
bad
return.
feeling. And like, again, we have this thing where it's just like, they want so badly for all of this stuff to be very cool and edgy. I should gold her, right? Like, I'm gonna do it. Quick save, and then, yep, be golden together. I've
The many shall suffer.
So, to be clear, turning people to gold absolutely is killing them, and as such is breaking the golden rule. This is why the gods invented quick save.
What? Are you still here?
And here's a whole bunch of extra money, in case you somehow still need money at this point in the game. And hey, would you look at that? So, there's an awful lot of places where we can now go open chests, but like, it almost can't be the case that those chests have anything of actual value in them, right? Because they can't, like, all of the items that could possibly matter in the game world, we either already have or we know where they are. Are these chests, all these chests that are accessed via turning stuff to gold, are these just going to contain, like, money, or? Yep, money and arrows. And another bottle of wine. Are we going to have to get, like, are we going to have to get the whole city super, super drunk? Is that the idea here? Ooh, hold on a second. Can I make a golden apple? I'm not actually allowed to take the golden apple, but I did make a golden apple, and that feels very appropriate. Me and Eris, we're like this, you know? So you can't see it. Just imagine, you know what gesture I was doing with my hand there. All right, there's a couple other places where we can very quickly get some stuff done. So what's his name with the rheumatism will have the key to the locked door with the Christian shrine that has one of the plaques in it. Then we're going to have to make the election thing happen, which I think might actually require us to do another loop because I may have blown it with Claudia. In like an unrecoverable way, which is an annoying idea. And also, I mean, the election's already happening, this loop. Yep, that's just a small amount of money. That's wild. For that to be a thing that you have to be so progressed in all of this stuff to get access to that, and then for it to be that small of an amount of money. That's really something. All right, well, let's go back over there and see if we can at least get the key from Captain Rheumatism before we have to loop back. I guess I have to go to the Shrine of Apollo first and get the willow bark.
The many shall
All right.
suffer for the sins of the one.
Somebody at the election had at somebody else. Actually, I wonder, can I gold up these statues? Hi. Nope, doesn't work that way. And everybody knows, obviously, they have to deplete my hit points in order to turn me to gold, the same way I have to do to the other zombies. That's why only headshots work. Everybody knows you can't just get turned to gold if you got hit points left. Alright, so I still have all my arrows and everything, right? Yeah. And my sick golden bow. Okay. So we can give this another try, but I suppose, actually, this is maybe a good point to leave it for right now. Also, I had to say, this thing, it seems to stress out my computer in a way that's wild, considering the hardware that I'm running it on. I think there are maybe some issues with the way this thing's actually built. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for today, and thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time tomorrow, we have to basically rig an election, which, again, not against the golden rule, apparently. And then I think we're actually pretty close to fixing the obelisk. And then I guess the implication was that we might have to fight Pluto? I don't know. When you come back next time, I guess we'll find out together. And we'll see you then.